I graduated so long ago, 2009. I actually took the paper and pencil versions, I think two or three times. I can't recall, but I was just after that, I was just wasn't going to try it again. I did not pass. I used to school PE, and I fell asleep all the time in the lectures, and that wasn't working out. And then what you're teaching is, right, if you know the concept of it, you truly understand the concept of it, you should be able to pick it up.
Right.
And once you make that connection in your mind, your brains, it's there. It just needs a little bit of a reminder to jumpstart it.
Hello, guys, and welcome back to the Genie interview series where I interview Genie Prep community members who've recently passed the FE exam. Today, we're spotlighting Mimi, a 2009 graduate whose journey to passing the FE exam is a testament to her determination and resilience. After her graduation, Mimi had multiple unsuccessful attempts at the FE exam across different disciplines. Disappointed, she put her FE exam on hold for almost a decade. Now, in 2020, Mimi decided to give her FE exam another shot, but faced another series of disappointment after choosing the wrong prep course 3 times. Despite these setbacks, Mimi did not lose hope. Now, fast forward to 2022, Mimi discovered our Genie Prep course. She started a different approach and she adapted a unique study method. The turning point for Mimi was her unique study method and a crucial shift in how she perceived failure. She began to view these setbacks as opportunities for learning, concentrating on improving her weaknesses and strengthening her understanding of the core concepts. So if you have failed the FE exam a couple times and you're not sure how to keep studying for the FE or how to overcome failure, then you're going to love this interview. So let's dive in. So Mimi, why did you decide to take the FE exam?
It was the next step in that I had to do. I think for me, it's been a long journey because I've graduated so long ago, 2009. I actually took the paper and pencil versions, I think two or three times. I can't recall, but I was just after that, I was just wasn't going to try it again. And then I took another, I think back in 2014 or 2013. I took in the FE computer based industrial version because I heard that was supposed to be the easier version or something like
Hmm.
that. And that didn't pan out. And then I think a year or two later, I tried a different one, chemical route,
Wow.
and that didn't pan out either. So then I tried back, I think, actively in 2020 when the pandemic hit. And I tried it, the silver version, finally, back to the silver version. And then I did not pass. I used to school PE, and I fell asleep all the time in the lectures, and that wasn't working out. And I actually spent like two or three times buying the course for the school PE out of pocket, which it can get pricey.
Oh yeah.
But I think I tried in 2020, it didn't work. 2000 and I want to say 21, I tried it again, and then I had signed up for 2022 February, but I felt like I was not ready, and I had found your program about a month prior. So then
Mm.
I think I emailed someone with you guys, and they said, if you don't feel good about it, we'd recommend canceling. So I did cancel. And then I booked it again for September of 2022. I bought your course, I think in March, all of your course, statics, the FE, quick FE review, the morning sessions, and then the afternoon session for the silver version. I did not have a chance to actually study. I said I was going to study. I had really good intentions, but I ended up not studying. And then in September, just I think I want to say within 1 week, right before my test date, I was not going to change it. But I did change my mindset. I did change my mindset to saying, you know, it seems like you can't really study and you can't really sit down to take up any practice test. Why don't you just go to this one and take it as a practice test? And then, but the week before before the test, I did watch your ethics portion on the quick review, and I did also have a chance to watch the engineering economics on your portion. I went and took the test in September. I failed it. But I did improve on those two subjects. I was always like borderline, not quite above average, but those two subjects were definitely above average. So then I contacted you guys and Panita, and I did like a little phone interview together in October. And I was like, you know, I want to sign up again. I'm having trouble studying. And she was like, you know, just so focus on the statics course first, and then go through the program. And she was very helpful, I think, to me. And she's like, okay, that's about you have about a month and a half, because I scheduled my next test December, the first week of December. I think it was December 2nd or something like that. And I took a week off from work. I didn't tell anyone from work that I was trying to study for my exams or anything like that. And I just took off. My family knew I was studying, but I was just, I took off. It was just by myself. So I was able to study about maybe 6 to 9 hours a day for about five days. And then I went and take my test. So with that test, I think there was like 14 subjects total, right? Or and I think out of the 14 subjects, I want to say I improved in 10 of the 14 subjects by just doing your statics course, just watching your statics course and actually doing the problems in the quick review sessions. I didn't finish your quick review session because it was really a short amount of time that I end up having. Got my diagnostic test back. I failed it, but like I said, you know, I've improved with your program 10 subjects out of 14. So then I schedule another exam for January, I think January 30th, at the end of January of 2023 this year. And again, I took 1 week off from work. I took off for my family. My family knew that I was going to be focusing on studying, and I just used your statics course again and went through your FE review course. I actually what I did was I screenshot all of your problems and printed it out. And then every time I would just do the problems. I think in January, the week that I have off, I started with your statics course, but I wouldn't watch your videos. I would just do the problems, and the problems that I did not know how to do is when I would watch your videos just for a little hints. Then I would pause it, like your recommendations, and then continue doing it once. Oh, okay, that's the disconnect that I had. And then I passed. So yeah, thank you. I really am a true believer of your program. So, but that mindset changing of, you know, this is a practice test. The diagnostic test was no longer like a shameful thing. It was like, okay, this is here to help me. Okay, this is where I need to improve to pass, kind of ordeal. Before it was like, okay, I pass. I don't want to see that I didn't pass. So then I would just shove it away, kind of, rather than acknowledging what the reality of it is for me to change. So, yeah.
Yeah. We can learn so much from the diagnostic report, right? It's like there's nothing wrong with it. You know, you just failed. You know, you can just retake, you can take it as many times as you want. There's no limit. Just retake it, keep studying, keep adjusting, keep changing your mindset, your study habit, your study material, whatever you need to do, adjust and keep taking it, right? But I have to say your approach is really, really different than most people. You know, I have a lot of questions. Well, actually, one of my first questions is, did you fall asleep when you were watching our program?
No, I find it exciting. Actually, I look forward to it. And
Oh,
and even when I was studying for my recent PE exam on the 8-hour exam on Tuesday, I booked that 1 week. I wanted to know where my baseline was, and I watched your afternoon portion. Transportation was my chosen depth, so I watched the transportation portion. And I feel like, your lectures were not boring. It was very informative. And I would watch your lecture, I would take notes on draft notes, and then I would finalize my draft notes into finalized notes. But when you were going to going through the reference manual of the FE, I would just go to the reference manual of the PE exam. So that was really, really helpful. We'll see.
hopefully you
Yeah.
pass and we can have you
Yeah,
back on our channel. Yeah.
yeah, but if wasn't on Tuesday that I passed, I'll definitely pass by the end
Yeah.
of the year, because I
Ex-
think I
Yeah.
truly believe in your program.
Oh,
So
thank
thank
you.
you. Yeah.
Uh, thank you. Appreciate it. That's awesome. And again, if you do feel like you said, you're just going to take a look at the diagnostic report,
Yep.
take a look at what you need to improve on, and then keep going. I love that.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
really, really important. I think it's really important to have that mindset, because I think for most people, what really, really scares them about this exam is failing it. That's literally this. Like, I talk to so many people, and I've had students who keep postponing this exam so many times because they're so afraid, or they just keep studying for
Just
months. And I'm like, just go
yep.
take it. Just see
Yeah,
where you
that's the
at.
nerves. Yeah, the
Yeah,
nerves. Yeah, but
right?
changing that mindset, and I feel like
Yeah,
I was in the same boat. And to be
yeah,
honest, I had some mentor of mine, and they go, Mimi, you're sharp. I don't understand why you're not taking this test. Is it the fear
wow.
of failure? They would say straight to me, is it the fear of failure? And to be honest, it was the fear of failure. If I
Yeah,
never take it, or if I don't really try, if I don't study and try and I go in there, of course I'm going to fail. So then
yeah.
that fear of failure just pulls you back. But if you can just change your mindset a little bit of saying, well, let's just look at it as a practice exam that you can pass. It's a practice exam that you can possibly pass. And I like I said, if I had 40 hours of study time for the 8-hour PE exam using your program as well. And I did straight, I bought the school PE. Yes. Yeah. But I still, I could not stay awake for those ones. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to try Kenza's program, just to maybe just focus on the afternoon. I'll start with the transportation. I didn't go through all of the other portion. So I think if I did go all through all the other portion, I think it would be great. But I did 40 hours of pure studying on your transportation portion. And if I pass, I would definitely let you know. If I don't, I would definitely let you know, and then I'll continue on my journey. But definitely it will be this year. So
Yeah.
yeah,
That's awesome. Yeah, I think the mindset, the embracing fear is very powerful. It's gonna
yeah.
unlock so much. Okay, so I think we asked you this over email just to,
Mm-hmm.
to have a little bit of a summary. So you took the
Yep.
FE exam about 10 times overall,
Yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
And
The 10th time was the one that I passed. But imagine I
right,
quit at the 9th time.
right,
you
right.
know? So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And so and it was quite a journey, because like it was so interesting. You took so many different FEs. You took industrial, you took chemical. Did you take
yeah.
other disciplines as well?
I think I did
You
take
did
other discipline as well before I just focus on civil.
civil. Yeah.
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 Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
I'm
think I
glad you
did.
shared that with us, because there's so many people out there who would go like, take other disciplines because it's easier, or take
Yeah.
industrial, and it's like, again, like you got to make sure that they're all gonna be difficult. No matter
Yep.
what, they're all difficult.
Yep.
You have to study for all of them, right? So it's
Yep.
it's not gonna be this magic pill where you go in and then you just
That's
magically
pure
pass.
luck.
Right, on pure luck. You have to put in the effort. And something I
Mhm.
always say is that if you're planning to take PE civil, it helps to
Mhm.
just take FE civil, because like you
Mhm.
said, now
Yep.
you're using the afternoon course to study for
Yep.
the PE, because the
Yep.
same material is there, right?
Yep. Yep.
And so
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I'm gonna have to talk about the study material, not study material, but your study habit. So
Mhm.
you would not study at all till like 1 week before the exam, and then you would study for 40 hours.
Yeah, well, I have good intentions to study before then. Very good intentions, but I think with work and family and certain situations that goes in life, it just happens that I end up not being able to study. I think I was able to maybe study for about 9 days. I tried to do every day for like 2 hours, and I think that was beginning of November. So I was able to at least get through the statics portion in basically almost the 9 days of studying. But my husband would just, we live by a public library. He would walk me down there. Okay, sweetheart, here you go. And then he would do homework with our daughter. Okay, we're gonna leave now. You're gonna stay here. So to have that family support, that was great. And then just work, just something went sideways at work and I got to dive all in and stuff like that. So sometimes then I would go periods of without studying. But what you're teaching is, right, if you know the concept of it, you truly understand the concept of it, you should be able to pick it up.
Right.
And once you make that connection in your mind, your brains, it's there. It just needs a little bit of a reminder to jumpstart it. So yeah.
Yeah. That's a very interesting approach. I don't think anybody, any of one of like our students,
Hmm.
has approached it this way, or maybe they have, and we just never interviewed
Yeah.
them or talked to them. But yeah, that's that worked for you. That's amazing. It works for you, and maybe also like just studying for that whole week and just being
Hmm.
every day showing up and studying,
Yep.
and then that helped you reinforce all the concepts. And like you said, you might have had like some of the concepts already before, and so things already sort of clicked for you, and so
Yep.
you use that week to reinforce everything that you know, and then kind of make everything click, right? Everything
Yes.
connects.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
All right. That's awesome. That's very cool, because it's I'm always fascinated by how people approach the FE, right? Because like
Yep.
everybody's story is different. I interviewed so many
Hmm.
people. I talked to hundreds of students, and
Hmm.
none of them had the same exact story or the same
Yeah.
exact study habits, right?
Mhm.
And that really just shows that, we all different. We all learn
Yep.
differently. We all
Mhm.
wired differently. And so
Yep.
again, I share these interviews with a lot of people because I want students to figure out what works for them, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
Doesn't like some people might listen to this and be like, I'm gonna try this, and might work for them, and some
Yeah.
people might try it and might not work for them. um
Yeah.
yeah.
But like you're saying, everyone that you've interviewed has always gave you
Yeah.
something different, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
every like when I'm training my guys just for work items, I tell them, you're gonna learn something from everyone that you meet. Whatever you and sometimes you actually don't learn it through what they tell you, but
Mm,
it's what their actions are doing, what their body language. So you want to take whatever is best from each trainer that you have and make it your own. But don't take it exactly the same, but make it your own. How would it work? How would it help improve you? So
yeah.
again, if you made a mistake today, clear it out. The next day, it's okay. You start over. I made a mistake yesterday. I'm gonna take a look at it. Okay, what can I do to improve? And make sure you don't do that for the next day or the next time. You're just trying to improve you as an individual on a daily basis. You just start over. You can start over the next day instead of starting over 10 years. You just
Right.
have a different mindset of, I'm going to start over tomorrow. It's a brand new day. Maybe I might have a bad day today, yesterday, but you can always clear it, and have a better day the next day. If you take it with you, then that's a choice that you make.
Yeah.
And and we all make choices, but also know that each time that you make a choice, if you feel like you made a bad choice, you can change that by making a different choice. If you don't change your choice, and you kind of stagnate, that's still a choice that you made, whether or not you consciously made it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I love that. That's so true. Um, Mimi, so you took the FE exam like we mentioned 10 times total, right? You passed on
Yep.
your 10th attempt. Was there any point that you wanted to just give up, or what's kept you going? What's kept you motivated to keep going until you pass your FE?
What kept me going? I think my mom. Oh, I think she mentioned to me, if I think in like 2000, maybe, yeah, around, yeah, at the end of 2000, the year 2020, she said that, my dying wish is for you to get your engineering stamp. I go, okay. So I said, okay. So that's one of the things. And my daughter is very demanding. She wants all these things and stuff like that. And she's super cute sometimes. Like sometimes I have to go to work and she goes, and she knows I don't want to go to work. She comes up and at the time she's probably like 5 or something, 5 or 4. She comes up, Mommy, I know you don't want to go to work. I don't want you to go to work too. But if you don't go to work, we all live in the streets.
Wow. That's pretty cool. She's gonna be hardworking, that's for sure. She knows what's the worth of work, that's
Yeah.
awesome. That's
Yeah,
pretty
so
cool.
I think
Yeah.
it's more of just a better opportunity and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I actually I want to say it wasn't really for I know there'll be a pay increase or anything like that, but I get paid pretty well to do what I do already, and there's a lot of PE that actually doesn't get the same amount that I do, but I don't have my PE. And a lot
Mm.
of people actually comes to me and asks for my opinion on things, but I just feel like it would be eventually, I think, from the time that my mom asked me, as was one of her dying wish for me to get my stamp, is I think from that time until just recently, it's like, it became more of a personal item than more for anyone else. It was more of, these PE does come to you for your opinion, but because you don't have your PE, you still need to go to them for their stamp. So
Wow,
it's
yeah.
more of now, it's just more of for it's like, I can do the work of the PE, and I've been doing that, but now I still need to get it stamped off from
Yeah.
someone else. Well, why don't you just study?
Right.
If you study, my thought is it's always been, oh, even in college, I had the worst. I feel like I had the worst study habit. It's like either you know it or you don't. And then I had like a really bad test taking anxiety. So I just quit studying because my anxiety got so bad. And then I just said, you either know it or you don't, and you just go take your test, right? And with my PE exam, my FE exam or EIT exams back then, um, I would just I would just have the same mindset, and I couldn't study. I just couldn't study. I couldn't sit down to study. And then I would just go take the test. I would just go take the test. And then my mom says, Mimi, I don't see you studying. How can you pass something if you don't study? I'm like, gee, that's genius idea, Mom. So that's why when I said about the PE study course, but I keep on falling asleep on it. So I'm like, I don't know. I don't think this is working out until I found your program. And I think it was just pure luck that I found your program. It wasn't introduced to it or anything like that. I didn't really read it on Reddit. And then once I found it was just pure luck that I found your course, right? Or just a video of you, and then I start reading up on Reddit. Oh yeah, okay, Kenza. Okay. Well, maybe I'll try it out. So I'm very grateful. So yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Um, okay, that's pretty cool. Your mom really was a big motivator for you to keep going, and that's really
Yeah.
awesome. Like you said earlier, you mentioned also like your husband was supporting you. Family support is really helpful,
Yeah.
especially with the FE and the
Yeah.
PE. Um, you know, something I'll say sometimes is that, you know, after we graduate or when we're in school, we think that after
Mhm.
we graduate, there's no more studying. It's going to
Yep.
be just, you know what I mean? And then you graduate and it's like, whoa, I still have to study for these 2
Mhm.
exams. And so, yeah, that can be stressful. So having that support can really be helpful a lot.
Yeah, my brother-in-law also, he has a property in Brisbane that looks the bay, and there's actually two properties or two individual homes on it. He just lets me stay at the other
Yeah.
house to study, and I call it now. It's a fun thing now. It's a study-cation location. So just having that, like, oh, you get to go to this awesome
Got it.
place to study, kind of ordeal, just promotes the studying again. So it's one of those things. It's like you said, family support, family from my mom to my husband to my brother-in-laws, and even from work. They give me time off and paid time off, not so I don't have to worry about, okay, I'm missing work, so then to compensate for that
Yeah.
somehow. Yeah, very lucky.
Yeah. That's awesome. Okay. So you got our courses. What were some of the things that you really liked about our courses or that you felt like it really helped you pass your FE exam?
It's exciting. It didn't make me fall asleep, and it makes me want to learn.
Yeah.
So I really applaud for you and your team on that. So really, you make it exciting. So it's like, oh, I got to get to the next one. I get it, kind of ordeal, and you really jump to the basics of it. You don't convolute on certain things that it doesn't you don't need on your tests. I feel like,
Yeah.
this is, you focus on this is what's on the test, focus on this, focus on understanding this, and that was really helpful. And I feel like if at least with the school of PE, I felt it was, there's a lot of information. um I feel your program it was more condensed. It was
Mhm.
condensed, and what was important was all those problems that you go through. You have a little concept, all the problems. They were fun. They were broken down individual clips, which I really like, because then you could, okay, it's this clip that I still don't understand, versus, okay, you have to open up this whole recording. And I think it's around 20 minutes or something like that. Those clips were very awesome, very well planned. I think your program very well planned it out.
Yeah, like easy. We try to design it like easy bites, so it's easy for you
Mm-hmm.
guys to digest it and process it. Because when you open a video and you look like and you see that the video is an hour, that just
Mm-hmm.
mentally already affects you,
Yeah.
right?
Yes, yes, yes.
You're
Mentally
like,
challenging already. Yes.
yeah, yeah. You're like, wow, this is gonna be an hour, and you look at your clock versus like 5 minutes here, 2 minutes
Oh,
here,
I can do that. I can do
right?
5 minutes. And then the next thing
Exactly.
you know, it's 2 hours later, but
Right.
it works.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's
Yeah.
it's like one
Yeah.
of those check marks that you're
Yeah.
saying in
Yeah.
your videos
Mm-hmm.
sometimes. To add on, I think I also instead of I before I would try to do like a check mark one, okay, I did 1 hour of studying. I did the second hour of studying. Instead, I broke each hour into 15 minutes.
Mm.
So each time I go through a subject, sometimes when I don't find motivations on days, I would sit down for 15 minutes, like you said, show up for 15 minutes or something like that. But I would just start coloring a quarter of the circle or a quarter of the triangle or rectangle or whatever it is. But soon enough, that I'm doing 8 hours, no problem. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's weird. But it's just like you said, then breaking it down to bite size
Yeah.
pieces and tricking your mind kind of
Mm-hmm.
ordeal. It's tricking your mind to do what you want it to do. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I contribute that idea to my husband. It was his idea when I first
Mhm.
was working on the course, and I was like, yeah, let's do that. But yeah, and also like the other thing too, as you mentioned, I like how you were doing the 15 minutes and then you were just showing up, because I think sometimes, a lot of times, the hardest thing is just to start, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of people, like, for motivation, we just sit and we're like, I'm gonna wait till I get motivated. But then
No.
motivation doesn't work like that. You have to
Yeah.
actually start, right? You have to,
Yeah.
like gyms. I mean, so many times you don't want to go to the gym, but once you show up and then you're like, you know what, I'm just gonna do a little bit of 5 minute, like just 5 minute walk on the treadmill. You can
Yeah.
start getting energy, and then you're like, okay, I
Yeah.
can go for 20 minutes, right? And that's the
Yeah.
same thing with studying. That's what I'll tell our students always. Like, if you don't feel motivated, just show up. Even
Yeah.
if you do 15 minutes, and after 15 minutes, if you still don't have the motivation, then go, leave.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
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 yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Each time I feel like when I start up on my long journey of the week to just study, pure study, it takes me about a good day to switch from not studying to like fully studying, which is, but then in those show up time, you show up, you lay out all your books or it's just planning. The first day it's just
yeah.
planning. And then if you can just start planning a little bit, and then like like in your videos of your study habits and stuff like that, that you're teaching study habits, was at the end of the day, go through and ask some questions. What are you still not getting from this? And and then you would make another list for your next study session. Hey, let's go over these items because I'm still not understanding it, or let's redo these problems because I'm still not understanding it. And then we'll move on. Once we do those, we'll move on to these other subjects. But the way that your program is set up, it's easy. It's easy to okay, so I'm going to go to this portion of the study. I'll just kind of review what I did last week for studying, which was like, okay, I'm going to go through the horizontal and vertical curves. Okay, and then I'm going to do these problems that are on it. Okay, and then at the end of that session, I'll look at it, and I was like, well, I still don't fully understand this concept, and then I would write it for my next study session to go first, and then move on to the next set of study session. But breaking that down, that planning is really important. Yeah, like if you don't have a plan, then you're setting yourself for failure.
Yeah.
But just very if you just have to show up, then and you don't have the mentality to study. I feel like I just learned this through your program's help, is to just plan for the next study session. Okay. And sometimes it really works. I feel like where it motivates me to actually, okay, well, I planned it already. Okay. What am I going to do with my time now? So, okay, then I just jump right into it versus anything. But if you just show up, like you said, if you don't the review stuff, but review notes or something like that, and if you don't really even want to review notes, then just plan for your next study session. So sometimes your plan of action will help motivate you to study. And you're saying is right about, you don't really get motivation by just waiting for it to come. I feel like I was one of those people that would wait. Oh, the motivation will come, it will come to me, and then all of a sudden I pass, kind of ordeal. But it's really about taking actions, like you mentioned in your videos, taking actions. And when you take action, you feel good. And when you feel good, then you get motivated. And motivation doesn't just come, like you mentioned in your videos.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I love that. You're so right about the planning. Like, even like now when I'm like working, I'm actually working on the mechanical course. So I'm working on thermodynamics. And at the end of the day, when I'm done, if I plan out exactly what I'm gonna cover the next day, I have no problem waking up on time and getting
yeah,
to work right away. Right.
yeah.
So I wake up, I have breakfast, and I dive in, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I notice the difference when I don't plan. When I
Yep.
go, you know what, I'll just figure it out tomorrow morning. And so
Yep.
then the next day, I come into my office, and then before you know it, like, I'm checking emails, I'm checking
Yep.
Slack, right, messages, I'm checking on my
Mm-hmm.
team. And then before you know it, it's already 11 and I haven't done anything on thermal. Right. And
Yeah.
so that is so true. Like, I think, you know, I say it too, you know, sometimes like I forget what I preach, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes, you
We
know,
all do.
yeah, we all do, you know, and I'm like, damn, like I should always plan my day, right? And so
Yeah.
like now before the end of my day, I always plan exactly what I'm gonna cover the next day. And that really helps me to keep going and to stay motivated. So
Yeah.
so that I'm really glad you brought that up. I think planning is really, really important when it comes to the FE because, you know, a
Mhm.
lot of times, like if you just show up not knowing what you're gonna study, what study
Yep.
material you're using, what problems you're gonna cover,
Mhm.
it's gonna be really hard to get into it and to start studying. So
Yep.
yeah, I think that's really
I
important.
I agree, and I think on my first day, this last week that I had off to study was I still had a lot of materials. You know, I said, you know, I have your program. I also bought a PE course for the school of PE because that's what everyone tells me to do.
Yeah.
And so now I'm boggled with all these material again, and I'm like, well, I only have a week to study. What do I do? You know, and I just said, you know what, maybe the school PE didn't work for you. Why don't you just focus on Kenza's afternoon portion? So
Yeah.
that's what I said. So
Yeah.
yeah.
That's great.
But you know, to
Yeah.
be honest, just going through your transportation portion, and taking the transportation exam on the 8-hour exam on Tuesday, I feel like your program was very much there. I feel like if I watched it a little longer, or was able to have a little bit more time, I think your program is really, really there as well for at least the transportation portion. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, a lot of
Hmm.
our students who pass their FE exam
Hmm.
now they're actually so they would do something similar. So we had a
Hmm.
couple students who would purchase another PE course because our
Hmm.
courses they're not designed for the PE, right? Or at
Yeah.
least
Yeah.
I didn't know it was designed for the PE when I created
Yeah.
it first. And then they would start studying. I think Beth, I remember Beth specifically because I interviewed her and
Hmm.
she started studying using a different course, and then she was like, oh man, like I'm not getting any of this. You know what? I'm gonna go back to Kenza's afternoon course,
Yeah.
cover the
Yes. Yeah.
breath. And then she was
Uh,
like, and she passed her P and she was like, that's for the
nice.
breath section. That's all I needed was your afternoon course. Like,
Yeah.
and
Hmm.
I know there are some things that are missing there, but
Hmm.
apparently is in depth. And I'm really glad I was able to create a course in so much depth and it provides so much concepts and problems for you guys. Because
Hmm.
it's just amazing to see that you guys pass your FE and your PE, you know, it just and keep
Yeah.
excelling in your career. So I'm really glad that worked out. But yeah, but hopefully soon we'll create courses for the PE as well. And
Yeah.
yeah, and then we can help more students. All right. So you went into your exam, you took the exam. Let's talk about the last attempt. How did you
Hmm.
feel when you were taking the exam? Were you like, oh, I'm passing this, this is easy? Like where were you at with the exam?
So the FE exam, right?
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
yes, for the FE exam, I think it was like, you know, I had a good feeling going in, and then I had a good feeling going out. But you know, you're never sure. You're
Yeah.
just never sure. And I think usually I feel like I would get my exam results within 7 days, but it says 7 to 10 days. But I had to wait until like almost like the 10th day until I get my results, and it was passed. I was like,
Mm.
was in disbelief actually. I was like,
Wow.
because of, you know, my study routine wasn't really consistent, and it was
Right.
kind of more of abnormal. And so I'm like, okay, well, all right. So, you know, next step. I was really in disbelief for even a few days, to be honest.
Wow.
But
Did,
then, you know, I mentioned it to everyone that I knew, like with some of my I guess classmates in the school of PE. One of the group started a little PE, not PE, but FE study group and stuff like that. And I just text them, say, hey, I passed with Kenza's course. You know, I recommend Kenza's course. Yeah, school PE didn't work for me, guys. So,
wow, thank you for that. Appreciate it. Thanks for
yeah,
the
and
marketing. That's
yeah,
awesome. That's so cool. Did you finish your exam on time?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I finished my exam on time, and I feel
Okay.
like I even had like some time left over.
Okay.
But I think what I did differently in the very last exam that I passed, I forgot to mention this, was um the first like 15 to 30 minutes, I would allocate it to actually reading through all the problems. I read through all the problems, the ones that I can answer right away, I'll answer right away. And then
Yep.
I would actually mark, this is going to be a problem that I got to look up equations or something, medium, easy, and hard. So I would write the numbers of questions out. That's easy, medium, hard. And then I would go back, and the ones that I could answer right then, I would answer right then. And then the ones that are hard, but they're long questions or hard, and it's going to be a guess, I put long, put it in the hard question with an L for long, because I can figure it out, or with a little bit of help on, some equations or concept that's still there, or if it was a long, but I know I'm going to have to guess. So I would go back at the end of that, maybe 15 to 20, even sometimes I thought it was maybe even 20, 25 minutes that I took on the morning portion. And I really only wanted to take 15, but I didn't beat myself up. I just said, it is what it is. So you got through. Then I went back through the exam again, and went through it and answer all the easy questions. Then I worked on the medium questions. Then I went to the hard question that I knew I had no chance of getting, the guess one, and I just guess, pick one guess. What's my guess going to be? B's? Then I pick all B's or all C's or all A's, whatever that chance of rolling that popped in my head today. And then I would work on the long problems. And then I think I had a few minutes left at the end, but I did that for the morning session and the afternoon session. So, and lunch, I had a light lunch. I just had fruits, and a little bit of some water or something like that. So, yeah.
Okay. Awesome. So you didn't crash afterwards. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. And were you like checking when you got your results back? I had a couple students who couldn't believe they passed, and they're like, they kept checking it every day just to make sure there was no mistake. Did you do that?
I think I did that as well. I was like, because I was in disbelief for a few days.
Yeah.
I passed. I passed Count Purdue. So
Yeah, I heard that before. So how did the how did passing the FE affected your life? Sorry.
um, you know, I feel like it gave me a little bit more confidence that I can do
Yeah.
it. And yeah, so yeah.
Confidence is a big one. Like I actually didn't know this. Like
Mm-hmm.
at first when I started, creating courses and helping people, I
Yep.
didn't know people like would just feel more confident after passing the FE. But
Mm-hmm.
the more I talk to the students, the more like it keeps coming up. Like they just feel more
Mm-hmm.
confident at work. They taking more challenge tasks at work and stuff
Mm-hmm.
because now they have their EIT. So it's really it has such a big effect on us when we don't have it.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Yeah, yeah, different energy, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And last question. If a student comes up to you and asks you to list 3 things that really helped you pass your FE exam, what would you say to them?
Um, Probably just enjoy the learning process. Passing the exam will come. Just to enjoy the learning process, stay consistent. And then let's see. Another one would be to help pass exam would be probably try to change your mindset a little bit differently. Whatever you're thinking right now, whether most likely it's going to be negative, change that mindset. There is choose your heart. This little model, choose your heart, and I would write it out. Choose your heart, maybe is studying to pass your exam is going to be hard, but not passing your exam is going to be hard as well. Choose your heart. So that's a choice. It's like, so you make it a conscious choice for yourself. to help your subconscious mind push you to the right directions, I guess. So changing your mindset a little bit, and then the next one would be probably just be proud of yourself, like you're saying, just be proud of yourself that you're doing it. It's a diagnostic test, nothing else. It's a diagnostic test to say where you're at, and what you need to do to improve. It's like when you go to the doctors, to do blood work, they give you a diagnostic test of what's happening in your blood work and what you need to do to help improve on certain things if you want to avoid certain things. So it's a diagnostic test to help. Use it as a diagnostic test. It's nothing else. It's not there to make you be shameful of to stop taking. It's there. It's really there to help you out. So
Yeah, love that. Thank you so much, Mimi. Really enjoyed talking to you. Thank you for your time and for doing this and for sharing your tips on how you pass your FE exam. I really appreciate it. So thank you for your time.
No, thank you. Like I said, I'm a true believer. I'm putting your name out there, so
Thank you.
and I will keep you guys posted and update, okay, on my journey to getting my actual stamp. So I really appreciate your program and all the hard work that you put into it and your team. So thank you.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you.